Hello, my name is Dr. Pam, and I am from We Empower Magazine. First of all, I am so elated to be here with all of you. And so my question is for you, Mrs. Hughes. As a Black woman, first of all, I love the theme of this year, women leading change, because there have been so many contributions to social and political challenges and stigmas that are faced by Black women. So you have been around for a long time. And so I have to ask, how does it make you feel seeing these shifts that have been made? And what do you say to those who feel we still have a long way to go?
We'll always have a long way to go, because the only perfect entity is God. We will always have more in front of us to accomplish. The progress is the important part. One of the individuals who's a part of the show this year is Angela Davis. Now, Elaine Brown and so many other women made such an incredible contribution in the change of how social activism is about, but no Black woman has ever been on the FBI most wanted list for standing up for her community other than Angela Davis. And I have to honestly admit, all my life, she has been a standard by which I have based my activism on. I have to thank Jazz Smollett for making it possible for Angela Davis to join us this year. And I'm able to check off another box on my life's journey, because when I really think about to be on the FBI's most wanted list, that anybody could have gunned her down immediately upon sight and gotten away with it. And yet she did not change, not one iota. She went through the legal challenges, she won, and in my opinion, she deserves the title of godmother of social activism, because like I said, we've had some great social activists over the years, but none of them made the FBI's most wanted list.
Having Angela a part of this show, and as we're sitting, it's almost you watch this show, you're sitting at the feet of these great women. We're celebrating our legacy. We're talking about women leading the change and honoring the women who are currently leading the change, as well as the women who have been leading the change for decades and are still leading the change, like Miss Kathy Hughes, like Angela Davis, like the International Sweethearts of Rhythm. Just their existence has been leading the change for years and years. And it's really an honor to be a part of this show. And it's also, I hope that as everyone watches, they can recognize that you really are getting a rare opportunity to sit at these women's feet and learn something about our history, our past, and where we're going. Our legacy and our ancestors feed us to where we're going in the future and the changes that we're all making.
Thank you. I just like to put a footnote that it's important for our youth to see this show, but more importantly, little girls, every young woman that you know, every young girl, you need to take it upon yourself to ask them to sit with you and watch this show, so that they will see examples that are different than the housewives of every major Black city, okay, in America now. The examples of shows that portray Black women doing more destructive things to each other and to the community, and yet getting rave reviews. These are women who don't get the publicity. You may know their names, but like I said, we're focusing on what they are actually doing to improve life for Black folks. Please, if all of the journalists on this line, on this Zoom call today, don't do anything else, please encourage young women to watch this show. It's very important. And we don't know who's going to be the next Kamala Harris. We don't know which one of those little girls might grow up to be the first Black woman president, or change an entire state's voting structure like Stacey Abrams, or run Walgreens like Roz Brewer. It's so important for girls to see a different example, as Erica said, so that they concentrate more on action and how they can make a contribution than on whether or not they have the latest fad in hair, which is now past the bottom side. Okay, I don't know how sisters can sleep with braids down to their knees, but they, as always, sisters can master it. Okay, they figured it out. And eyelashes and nails, which unfortunately is the focus of so many of our young girls. We need to get them refocus, and they can still have braids down to their ankles if they wanted. They can have nails and lashes as long as they so desire, but they also have an obligation to do something to make life better for other sisters and brothers that are in their own families, in their communities, in this country, and then hopefully globally.
Yes, so I thank you so much, both of you, for that wonderful answer. And I really thank you for giving the right representation to show and highlight dynamic women. I would definitely be looking forward to watching, and I will be having all of my nieces and nephews make sure and watch so that they can have the influence that they need to make change. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Pam.
Thank you so much to Kathy, Ms. Hughes, for just believing in me and hiring me for this. I was so honored. And I didn't take it lightly when she told me that this was a tribute in honor of her mother. So I studied, I watched the documentary, I listened to the music. I didn't want to obscure it too much, and I made sure that the charts for the ladies were written very specific to what I had already heard. And in doing doing music for any award show, it's very important because it's the soundtrack that goes for the whole entire show, and it kind of carries it as it goes along with the host or a performance. And that was what was such an honor for this particular performance. Not only were we honoring women for doing Black women for doing great things, you know, to know that Miss Hughes' mother was a trombone player in this amazing all-female jazz band called the International Sweethearts of Rhythm. And I'll be transparent and tell everybody, I hadn't even heard about the group. So when it was presented to me and I started doing my research, I started calling all my female musicians. I said, you got to see this. This is amazing, you know. And I know Miss Hughes has been told many times, just go on and make the movie. Miss Hughes, just go on and make the movie.
We will have to pass the hat on that.
And it was very important, and I did want to not only just honor her mother, her mother's legacy, just the outline of what this band was in the 1940s era that people don't know, and I'm glad that we're going to be able to expose people now to that legacy, to be able to see it, to be able to hear it. Is just an amazing thing. And I'm very excited because I've done a lot of shows and a lot of different musics, but this was the first time that I was able to do big band with an all-female band. So it was a delight for me, and I truly enjoyed it.
If I can just add a quick footnote, they were an interracial band. And Earl Father Hines called them the first freedom riders. This is the 1930s and 40s. That they played swing, which was, you know, the forerunner to jazz. And the reality was that the white girls had to put on dark makeup to pass for Black, which is just the opposite of what a lot of Black folks have had to do. They were arrested, they were harassed, but they did not stop playing what at that time was called the Chitlin Circuit. Although the Chitlin Circuit at that time included, they played the Howard Theater, they set box office records at the Apollo. They did these incredible things, and then everyone forgot about them because they were primarily a Black, all-female orchestra. And so I thank you again, Kim, because as I said, not only was it time for their story to be told. There were Chinese women in the band. There were Spanish women in the band. There were white girls in the band. It was an interracial group of 18 women that traveled not only the United States from coast to coast, but they also stayed in Europe and entertained the troops of the USO for 6 months. They lived in Paris and they lived in Germany. They lived in England. A group of teenagers, basically, when this band was formed, that were determined that they were not going to let their age, their sex, discrimination, nothing was going to stop them from their first love, which was music.